So how does a seller in today's market get their home sold? What's their best strategy for that? Ultimately, the strategy is understanding the market and really understanding the direction that it's moving and what's happening and weighing out options from there. So anytime that I speak with sellers, there's some questions that I have to go through with them to really understand what their motivation is and their need for selling. If I come to your house to talk with you about listing your home and talk with you about how I do that, I'm going to ask you probably the same 5 or 6 questions. So I'll go ahead and tell you what they are now. The first question I ask everybody is, are you definitely motivated to sell your home? And then I follow that up with a why question. Why is that the case? And I'm really just trying to understand what's happening in your life that has created the necessity to sell this home. The second question I ask is, when do you need to have it sold by? And that's an important question also, but the more important question is, well, why? Sometimes it has to do with a job transfer, sometimes it has to do with having the kids in school, sometimes it has to do with taking advantage of this market. There's all kinds of different reasons. But the fifth question that I ask, and this is really important, is, well, if you don't get the home sold by that date, what happens then? And that's a hard question for a lot of people to answer. There is, for the most part, the public knows that the real estate market's bad. That's kind of, if you ask people, how's the market? They go, it's bad. And there's not really such a thing as a bad market. A market is what it is. It's just a market. And for those sellers, though, if they've begun to think about the condition of the market, usually they've started to think about what happens when the house doesn't sell. The sixth question that I ask people is, truthfully, it's a little bit of a loaded question. But I always ask people, what's more important to you right now in the sale of your home? Is it the amount of time that it takes to get it sold or the amount of money that you get? And there's a specific reason that's a loaded question. See, today we're operating in something called a buyer's market. Okay, and the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market has to do with the amount of inventory for sale. But since I don't have a whiteboard right here today, to really make it very simple, in a seller's market, prices are rising noticeably. And that's because there are a lot of people trying to buy a small number of houses. It's a supply and demand issue. In a buyer's market, there's lots of houses for sale, but not as many buyers. So in a seller's market, prices are going up, and the question about time or money is fair. Because if you say that you want to get the best price, then I'll have you overprice your home a little bit and let the market come to us. If you need to be out of the home in a certain amount of time, then we price it right at market value, and typically it's gone within a month or two. I mean, I remember times when we thought we were overpricing houses in 2004 and 5, and we had 15 offers in 3 days. Different market. Today, because prices are falling, the most important thing for sellers to understand is that the best price they can get for their home is probably the price they can get today. Truthfully, I call it a price war and a beauty contest. That's the real estate market today.
Explain that.
Well, there are basically 2 things that have to happen in order for a home to sell. Number one, it has to be one of the best price homes in its price range to sell and have the most value. And the second thing that it has to have is pristine condition. This market has turned real estate into a commodity. So if you were going to go to buy a new computer today, and you went and checked out Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and well, Circuit City's not in business anymore, another sign of the economy, but you checked out those 3 stores, and you're looking at the exact same computer with the exact same warranty and the exact same specifications, and it's $300 at Walmart, $300 at Target, and $250 at Best Buy. Which one are you going to buy? The $250 computer. Well, it's the same thing with real estate. So the house has to be pristine, and it has to be priced really aggressively. You want to provide the most value in your home in your price range. And that's another interesting component. Today, what we're seeing is that, except for very special neighborhoods like a Porter's Neck or a Landfall, where there's just not really other comparable neighborhoods, people are looking at entire price ranges. It's not that they want, a $350,000 house in Marsh Oaks. They're going to look at everything in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range in Marsh Oaks and Lucia Point and other neighborhoods down the south side of town as well. Sometimes that changes a little bit based on school districts, but for the most part, people are looking at all across the price ranges.